Just to
You already said last
follow
one.
up on,
I know, I heard that. Yeah, no, I know.
just to follow up on the negotiations, just to understand. So one of the things that you're kind of saying to the Iranians is don't escalate because we're really close to getting a ceasefire deal. This is the deal, the same deal that you were calling an Israeli deal, right? This came from the Israelis in the first place. The president communicated it. Do the Israelis have they signed up to all parts of the deal? Like, is there a deal ready for whoever the new Hamas negotiator is to come in and immediately say yes to?
So when the president first made public the proposal, which I think was on May 31st, if I remember correctly, that was a proposal that the government of Israel put forward and that they had agreed to, and that the president made public, and that we submitted to Hamas, or said that Hamas ought to sign up to, was submitted to them through the mediators. Since then, there have been further iterations of the proposal. There were facts on the ground that have changed since the proposal was made publicly. There were facts on the ground that changed between the time that the president made the proposal and Hamas issued their response. So that proposal that we described as an Israeli proposal was what the president put forward on May 31st. There have been additional issues that have come into play since then that no, Israel has not agreed to and Hamas has not agreed to. So there are additional things absent outside of the overall framework that Israel put forward that Hamas agreed to that we're still pushing to get agreement on from both parties.
Right. So to put a finer point on it, you're still, as well as hoping that a new negotiator comes forward from the Hamas side, you're still this is still kind of optimism and hope that the Israelis will close that final gap.
We always have optimism and hope, even in a difficult situation as this one. The government of Israel can speak for itself. I will give you our assessment of the situation and what it is we're trying to do. Our assessment of the situation is that these final issues very much ought to be bridgeable, and that there are real proposals that we have put forward to bridge the differences that we think ought to be agreed to, and we have made clear to the government of Israel that they ought to agree, just as we believe the other mediators who are in contact with Hamas have made clear to Hamas that they ought to agree to compromises on these final issues and get us to an agreement. And
just finally, the Secretary mentioned these direct contacts with the Iranians. Can you tell us, has the US sort of had any response directly? No, not through not through intermediaries, but directly. Have the Iranians said anything in response to these messages you've been sending?
So I don't want to speak to that publicly. We have always said that when we need to send a message to Iran, we have the ability to do so, and of course we have the ability to talk to others in the region who can impress upon Iran our shared concern about escalation. But as for Iran's responses, I will not have any comment on that.